Hello and welcome to Firstpost Spotlight, where we bring you stories that matter to you from all across the world. From breaking news to the day's biggest controversies, we shed light on issues that shape our world. I'm Alison Lagrange, live from Durban, South Africa. Let's begin with the top headlines. Russia carries out deadly attacks in Ukraine's Sumy and Odessa regions after Kiev's drone raids in Moscow trigger the closure of airports. Germany's Friedrich Merz loses first round of voting in the Bundestag to be the country's next chancellor. Far-right Alternative for Germany party demands fresh elections. Burundi's parliament appoints a new human rights commission with a mandate to counter the UN rights envoy following the exile of the previous commission head who criticized the government. Bangladesh's former Prime Minister Khaleda Zia returns to Dhaka after medical treatment abroad amid demands for elections in the country currently ruled by Muhammad Yunus-led interim government. Vatican officials involved in the upcoming conclave to elect the new Pope take oath of secrecy as the authorities begin deactivating mobile signals ahead of the highly secretive election process. Hello and welcome. We begin with the latest from India, where amid rising tensions with Pakistan after the Pahalgam terror attack, a nationwide civil defense drill has been announced. Prime Minister Narendra Modi's government has listed out 244 districts across the country where the drills will be held on the 7th of May. These drills have been aimed towards operationalisation of air raid warning sirens, training of civilians to protect themselves in the event of an attack, provisions of crash blackout measures, provision of early camouflaging of vital infrastructure, as well as updation of existing evacuation plan at multiple levels. The mock drills will also include the operationalization of hotline and radio communication links with the Indian Air Force, testing the functionality of control rooms as well as the shadow control rooms. The defence drills have been planned up to the village level to enhance the readiness of civil defence mechanisms across the country in the event of, quote-unquote, a hostile attack. In New Delhi, security deployment was heightened as authorities bought advanced equipment for the civil defence drills. The police in the Indian capital were briefed about the deployment of a long-range acoustic device which can transmit messages over a distance of more than 1 kilometre. In the event of a sudden attack, the system is capable of delivering a powerful siren to disperse crowds and deliver emergency messages to the public. Ahead of the nationwide defence drills, students in a school in Jammu were trained to respond to any eventuality at the time of a potential conflict. Air raid sirens were tested in the city of Lucknow, the capital of India's most populous Uttar Pradesh state, ahead of the May 7 mock drills. As India bolsters its civil defence mechanism in the event of a potential war, Pakistan continued to violate ceasefire across the line of control for the 12th straight day, prompting Indian retaliation. On the front of diplomacy, Pakistan was reportedly stumped by the UN Security Council members during a closed-door meeting. Now, the envoys reportedly posed tough questions for Islamabad over the involvement of Lashkar-e-Taiba in the Pahalgam attack, and also refused to accept Islamabad's outlandish narrative that the attack was a false flag operation by India. In the backdrop of Pakistan's diplomatic beating, from classrooms to control rooms, India is signalling its preparedness for a potential conflict. The preparedness is not out of a moment of anger, but out of a determined focus to end Pakistan-sponsored terrorism. And staying on with updates from India, amid boiling tensions between India and Pakistan, New Delhi has successfully test-fired an indigenously designed and developed multi-influence ground mine, or an MIGM, giving a major boost to its defence forces and the defence sector. The video of the test, shared by India's Defence Ministry and the DRDO on Twitter, shows an underwater explosion conducted with reduced explosives. India's Defence Minister Rajnath Singh complimented the DRDO and the Indian Navy for successfully carrying out the test. Taking to social media platform X, Defence Minister said the system would enhance the Indian Navy's undersea warfare capabilities. The multi-influence ground mine is an advanced underwater naval mine designed to counter modern stealth ships and submarines. The Indian Navy and the Defence Research and Development Organisation, or DRDO, jointly conducted the combat firing of the mine. The system was developed by the Naval Science and Technological Laboratory in the city of Visakhapatnam in partnership with other DRDO laboratories. Bharat Dynamics Limited, a production partner in the project, highlighted the key features of the underwater mine. It said that the MIGM is equipped with multiple sensors to detect and record signals generated by marine vessels. The test comes amid increasing tensions between India and Pakistan over the Pahalgam terror attack, in which at least 26 people lost their lives. Just days after the tragic incident, the Indian Navy's missile destroyer neutralized a sea-skimming target in a precision cooperative engagement. Last week, the Indian Navy also shared a picture featuring a surface ship, a submarine and a helicopter, and captioned it, "Trident of Naval Power." The picture showed the destroyer, the INS Kolkata, the Dhruv Advanced Light Helicopter, and a Scorpion-class submarine. Earlier, the Indian Navy also shared videos of warships conducting multiple anti-ship firings in the Arabian Sea. Now, these warships included Kolkata-class destroyers, Nilgiri and Kriva-class frigates. Evidently, the Indian Navy has ramped up its efforts and displayed its might in the last few days amid the heightened tensions with the neighbour, sending a clear message that India will not back down. Now let's turn our attention to the ongoing Russia-Ukraine war. Russia has reported a massive overnight Ukrainian drone attack that targeted various regions across the country, including the capital Moscow. Russian Defense Ministry has confirmed that a total of 105 drones were involved in the operation. Moscow Mayor Sergei Sobyanin has said at least 19 Ukrainian drones were destroyed in the vicinity of the capital, while the Russian military says it shot down more than 100 across the country. As per the Russian officials, it is the second night in a row that Ukraine has attacked Moscow. This aerial assault also comes just 3 days before Russia's highly anticipated World War II victory parade on the 9th of May. Russia launched the retaliatory attack on the Ukrainian city of Kharkiv after Ukrainian drone attacks on Moscow caused the temporary closure of its city's airports. Russian news agencies reported that flight restrictions were put in place at more than a dozen airports across the country. Now, this includes 4 airports in the Moscow region, although the initial reports suggest that the city's primary airport has largely maintained its regular flight schedule. Beyond the capital, other cities have also been affected. Reports indicate airport disruptions in Volgograd and in Nizhny Novgorod. Furthermore, the governors of the Voronezh and Penza regions have stated that their air defenses intercepted 18 and 10 Ukrainian drones respectively, with no casualties reported in those areas. Meanwhile, Ukraine insists it's still fighting inside the Russian region of Kursk, despite Moscow saying it was in full control of the area. In a separate incident in the Kursk region, the acting governor, Alexander Kishnestein, has reported an attack on an electrical substation in the city of Rylsk late on Monday. Now, he stated that 2 teenagers sustained injuries as a result of this attack, which also caused significant power outages due to the damage of the 2 transformers. Apart from this, cross-border attacks also continue. Ukraine says that Russian attacks killed 3 people in Sumy near Kursk, while Russia says that Ukraine killed 3 people on the Russian side of the border. This major escalation comes just 2 days before the 3-day ceasefire announced by President Vladimir Putin is set to begin. As the series of attacks and counterattacks continue, the imposition of even a temporary ceasefire seems elusive. We will continue to monitor this developing situation closely and to bring you the latest updates. And for our last story, let's turn our attention to the conflict-torn West Asia. Israel has intensified its retaliatory attack on the Houthis, targeting the Yemen's crucial Hodeidah port. This attack comes a day after a missile strike launched by the Iran-backed Houthis hit near Israel's main international airport. The Houthi-fired ballistic missile landed just 75 meters from Terminal 3 of the Ben Gurion airport, outside Tel Aviv, and left a 25-meter deep crater. Following the Houthi missile attack on Sunday, many Israeli and foreign passengers were left stranded at Israel's Ben Gurion airport, gripped by anxiety and uncertainty. The Houthi strike sent a plume of smoke into the air and caused panic among passengers in the terminal building. Many foreign airlines subsequently suspended flights to and from Tel Aviv. In a bid to retaliate against the Houthi attack, 20 Israeli jets struck Yemen. The Israeli military confirmed conducting strikes on Houthi positions along Yemen's Red Sea coast and inland on Monday. Israel alleges that these locations were utilized for the transfer of Iranian weapons and other military equipment. This was Israel's 6th airstrike in Yemen since the beginning of its war in Gaza, which triggered a wider war in the region. Iran has reacted strongly to these strikes. Iranian Foreign Ministry denounced the Israeli action as a blatant crime and a gross violation of the principles and rules of international law. It also urged international and regional powers to take action against what it described as ongoing US and Israeli destruction within Islamic countries.
All the accusations and claims made against Iran regarding Yemeni activities are baseless and are essentially aimed at deflecting attention from and overshadowing the real problem in the region, which is the ongoing genocide in Gaza and Palestine.
Meanwhile, the Houthi rebels reported that dozens of individuals were wounded in 6 strikes targeting Hodeidah port, as well as another attack in the Bajil district. The Houthis attributed these attacks to US-Israeli aggression. However, a US official has denied any American involvement in the strikes. This latest exchange underscores the complex web of alliances and hostilities in the region. Iran's backing of the Houthis is a part of its broader axis of resistance against Israel, which also includes Lebanon's Hezbollah and the Palestinian group Hamas. All 3 entities have faced significant targeting since their commencement of the Gaza war, which was triggered by Hamas's attack on Israel on the 7th of October last year. The Houthis, who maintain control over a significant portion of Yemen, have repeatedly launched attacks on Israeli territory and Red Sea shipping. The rebel group claims that their actions are in solidarity with Palestinians. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu also issued a strong warning to retaliate against both the Houthis and Iran. He directly accused the Islamic Republic of supporting the Houthi missile strike on Israel's main international airport near Tel Aviv. The scale at which tensions continue to rise between Iran-backed Houthis and the United States' close ally Israel makes one thing very clear. The ongoing war in Gaza has broader implications for not just West Asia, but for the whole world. And that's all we have on the show for today. We will see you again tomorrow at the same time. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned to Firstpost.
From breaking news to the day's biggest controversies, shedding light on the world's top headlines, detailed analysis on the stories that matter the most to you. Catch it all on Spotlight at 6 p.m. India time and 12:30 GMT, only on Firstpost.